While overt, millions of people are sleeping soundly, making decisions in seconds, and moving through life with the quiet confidence of someone who has never once replayed a conversation from 3 years ago in the shower. There's a massive group of people who can't stop. Their brains won't shut off. They analyze every glance, every pause, every word choice until 3 a.m. And according to neuroscience, their brains might actually be wired differently, not broken, not anxious, but operating on a frequency most people can't access. Stay with me because what I'm about to tell you will completely change how you see your overthinking, and probably explain why you've always felt like you're processing the world in higher resolution than everyone around you. Here's the thing nobody talks about. Overthinking doesn't make you weak. It doesn't mean you're anxious or indecisive, and it definitely doesn't mean something's wrong with you. But there is something fascinating happening in your brain when you can't stop analyzing. Something completely different from the 60% of people who process information on what psychologists call default mode. Let's start with the obvious question. Why do so many people dismiss overthinking as a flaw? Humans are efficiency-seeking creatures. For thousands of years, quick decisions meant survival. Your brain evolved to prioritize speed over depth, because hesitating in the wild got you eaten. And overthinkers? They're basically evolutionary outliers with better pattern recognition. When someone makes a fast decision, their brain releases dopamine, the reward hormone, the same chemical that makes you feel competent. Wild, right? Their brain literally tricks them into thinking speed equals intelligence, that confidence equals correctness, that the first thought is the best thought. But here's where it gets: people who overthink often have what psychologists call higher cognitive processing capacity. Their identity isn't tied to being fast. They're more analytical. They're more likely to say, I don't need to decide in 5 seconds to be smart. And there's actual research on this. A 2015 study found that people with high IQs showed significantly more neural activity in the frontal cortex during rest, meaning their brains were literally working harder when they appeared to be doing nothing. Translation: your 3 a.m. spiral isn't anxiety. It's your brain's background processing running at full speed. Interesting. But wait, it gets weirder, because what happens in the brain of an overthinker during what looks like paralysis is legitimately fascinating. You know that feeling when you're staring at a menu for 10 minutes while everyone else has ordered? That internal gridlock? That's not indecision. That's your brain running simulations. Studies using fMRI scans show that high IQ individuals activate more brain regions simultaneously during decision-making, effectively modeling multiple futures before committing to one. And here's the kicker. The delay isn't dysfunction. It's computational depth. It's your brain refusing to accept the first answer because it can see the third-order consequences. The same principle that makes chess grandmasters pause before a move that looks obvious. The mechanism is eerily similar to advanced problem-solving algorithms. Your brain doesn't distinguish between choosing a career and choosing a sandwich. It just knows it wants the optimal outcome. So here are the 6 weird signs. Number 1. You detect patterns others miss. Not conspiracy theories. Real patterns. You notice when someone's tone shifts 2% from yesterday. You remember that your boss only criticizes you after meetings with their own supervisor. You see the connection between 3 conversations that happened weeks apart. Most brains filter this out as noise. Yours flags it as signal. Research from the University of Rochester found that high IQ individuals show enhanced sensory discrimination, meaning you literally perceive more information per second than the average brain. Number 2. You experience time differently. A 5-minute wait feels like 15. A month feels like a year when you're waiting for news. This isn't impatience, it's temporal density. Your brain is so active that it generates more subjective experience per unit of objective time. Psychologists call this protracted duration, and it's strongly correlated with working memory capacity. You don't just remember what happened. You remember what almost happened, what could have happened, what should have happened. Your memory isn't a photograph, it's a multiverse. Number 3. You're obsessed with word choice, not grammar. Precision. You rewrite a text 3 times because fine and okay carry completely different emotional weights. You pause mid-sentence to find the exact right word, even when everyone else would have moved on. This is called lexical granularity, and it's a hallmark of high verbal intelligence. Your brain maintains more nuanced categories for emotional and conceptual states. To you, there are 12 kinds of tired. To most people, there's just tired. Number 4. You can't stop running scenarios. The conversation that went wrong. The conversation that might go wrong. The conversation that would have gone differently if you'd said that one thing. This isn't rumination. It's counterfactual simulation, a core component of advanced cognition. Studies show that people who engage in frequent counterfactual thinking score higher on measures of executive function and creative problem solving. Your brain isn't torturing you, it's training you. Number 5. You can't stop learning about things that don't matter. The history of a word, the engineering of a doorknob, the political situation in a country you'll never visit. This isn't procrastination. It's epistemic hunger, your brain's relentless drive to build more accurate models of reality. High IQ individuals show significantly higher curiosity-driven information seeking even when there's no practical application. You're not wasting time, you're building a more complete map. Number 6. You need to think alone, not because you're antisocial, because your processing is too dense for real-time conversation. You think in paragraphs, but you have to speak in sentences. You see the whole picture, but you can only transmit one brushstroke at a time. This is called intrapersonal intelligence, and it's strongly associated with high IQ. Your best thinking happens in solitude because that's the only environment that can accommodate the bandwidth. And this might be genetic. Research from the University of Edinburgh suggests that variations in the CRM2 gene, which regulates acetylcholine receptors in the prefrontal cortex, can predict both IQ and the tendency toward intensive cognitive processing. Think about that. Your complete inability to stop thinking might literally be in your DNA. But there's another layer. For some people, overthinking is actually a defense mechanism. Maybe you grew up in an unpredictable environment where noticing everything was survival. Maybe you learned that missing a detail meant danger. Your hypervigilance might have a backstory. Or maybe you just process faster than you can output. Both are valid. But here's the part that explains so much about why overthinkers and fast deciders sometimes can't understand each other. It comes down to how you experience thinking. Fast deciders find meaning in action. The done, the decided, the moved on. It's compelling because it feels efficient. Real-world progress with visible stakes. Overthinkers often find that speed meaningless. They think, why would I commit to an answer I haven't fully explored, to a path I haven't mapped, to a decision that might close doors I can't even see yet? They're not wrong, but neither are fast deciders. It's just two different approaches to the human need for certainty. So, what does all this mean? If you overthink, you're not missing out on some fundamental human experience by processing deeply. You're not broken. You're not too slow. You're just different. Your brain's pattern detection, your temporal density, your lexical granularity, they're all calibrated differently. And that's perfectly okay. The next time someone tells you you're overthinking it and you genuinely can't stop, remember, you're not defective. You're not anxious. You're just playing a different game. One that might just maybe have higher stakes. One where the depth of your thinking is the point, not the problem. And if this reached you at the right moment, I need you to do something. Not later. Now. Hit subscribe. Turn on notifications. In Tort 26 exists for people who process the world in higher resolution. Every week, I break down the psychology of deep thinkers, overanalyzers, and the quiet intelligence most people never recognize. The world won't stop telling you to think faster, but you can stop apologizing for thinking deeper. The video that reminds you your mind is an asset, not a liability, might be the one you almost missed. I'll see you in the next one.